He was batshit crazy, actually. Like, that bull was like, I didn't really want to even put my rope on that bull. Like, I wasn't scared of him, but I was scared of him at the same time, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
He just, like, he wanted you. Like, it was, and I don't think I was on him for more than a second. Like, it was that fast. He came out with a huge explosion and got me real quick.
Okay.
So there's a hole in my chin right there. But that was what busted it open. So, I guess you could say I sprung a leak that night.
Welcome to Six Figure Trucker, the podcast where we share advice on how to be successful in trucking and have fun while doing so. We'll share stories, news, and advice on how to earn six figures in trucking, and we'll speak to guys and gals that are already doing so. Let's get to the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. This is an area where we hold up, we elevate, and we celebrate the truck drivers that canvass this country, the men and women that make everything possible for us here at Norton Transport, and for many of you at home, because they move the trucks that eventually move the cargo that makes your life go round and round. Now, tonight we have a very special guest, one who's joining us. I believe he's out on the road. He can set the record straight for us. But Dennis Greenwood. Dennis, how are you this evening? And tell us where you are.
I'm good. I'm actually at home. I'm going to be picking up on Father's Day, picking up two of them, heading down to Tyler, Texas. So it just so happened that I got to be able to be home because I'm close to the yard.
I gotcha. So you live in Texas.
I do.
Now, you're picking up on Father's Day. Will you be able to celebrate Father's Day before you pick up?
Yes, I'm going to pick up Father's Day because I can't deliver till Monday morning. So I'm actually picking up Father's Day morning, and then I'm going to park right here by a truck stop near the house and spend the day with my wife and whichever kids decide to come over. And then I'll be heading out first thing Monday morning to deliver down in Tyler.
Gotcha. How many children do you have?
There are 7 between the two of us.
Wow, and that's you guys. That seems you keep it pretty active there.
Yeah, the kids are grown at this point. My youngest will be 18 in December, and she lives with her mother. So they range from 17 right now. The oldest is 30. My oldest will be 28 this year. So
I gotcha. Any of them following in father's footsteps of driving a big truck?
My son did. He left the industry this past year. Decided he wanted to kind of have a more at home every day kind of lifestyle. So
a little 9-to-5 job.
Yes, sir. He did almost 4 years, 3 years. Yeah, I'm 6, so 4 years.
Gotcha.
He was out for 4.
I got you. Did he fall into it because you've been doing it for a while, right?
Yes, I started in December of 2017. So, and then he came on September of the following year when he turned 23.
Gotcha. What were his impressions of it? I'll certainly will double back and ask your impressions since you're still doing it. But what was the good and the bad for him in the business?
He bought a truck, got himself like on top, I guess you could say. The problem was, like, for downsides for him was, it seemed like every time he'd get money saved, he'd be spending $10,000 rebuilding his truck. A lot of it was his fault. He didn't follow the advice that me and my wife gave him, because my wife actually drove up until last year with me. So he didn't maintain, and so he didn't save money. So when we hit the big slowdown up in the camper industry, he kind of lost it at that point. So when he never got his CDL, he was doing the campers without it. So big thing is, if you're doing non-CDL, get your CDL. It's the best thing I ever did for myself.
Right. So he was doing an O&O operation with campers and not CDL equipment?
Yes.
Now, let's kind of double back what you were talking about, best advice you could have for somebody who's non-CDL, get your CDL. We talked to a lot of non-CDL drivers here on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport, and a lot of them have that aspiration to get that CDL. And speak to that a little bit about the different world that it opens you up to.
You almost have to go back to when I started. When I started, I had to borrow a truck. Me and my wife were living in a 23-foot travel trailer. I didn't have my CDL at the time. I was selling cars, and I was selling cars with a friend, somebody I met in the industry. and he's transitioned and brought me over 9 months after he started. I borrowed a truck. It was a '06 F-250, and needless to say, I spent a lot of time learning how to work on diesels.
Mm-hmm.
But we were living in a travel trailer, and this industry, when I got to my DOT inspection for the truck, it broke down, so I had to switch to driveaways, and I was non-CDL, and that hindered me in pick up locations, available loads. It didn't pay as well as CDL. CDL rates were a little bit higher, and I was only trying to make $2,500 to fix my truck. It took me 3 months to be able to pay what little bill that I did have and get that money saved for 3 months. With my CDL and doing boom loads, I'll make $2,500 in 3 days.
Wow.
So there's a huge difference in non-CDL versus CDL. Granted, boom is multiples, whereas I was doing singles, so that's a difference too.
That's one of the best steps you've made in quite some time.
It is. How I ended up getting my CDL is a funny story, because the same person that got me started in the industry told me, you can't just get your CDL and jump in a semi. And so background, I was in the Army. I was a tanker. I drove 63-ton Winnebagos, is what we called them.
Right.
I learned how to drive 44-passenger buses. I've been pulling horse trailers and stuff my whole life. So he said that, and I'm kind of like holding my beard. So I decided I was going to go get my CDL, and a month later I had my CDL, and I bought a semi with cash because of this industry. So we went from homeless to buying 5 pickup trucks. I bought a semi with cash. I bought a fifth wheel with cash, and I upgraded my fifth wheel last year to a very nice Alliance 42-foot. So
Driveaway's been good to you.
Very much.
Well, that's awesome, man. And we'd like to celebrate. Like we said at the beginning of the show, we like to elevate and celebrate. And sounds like it's time to do that for Dennis Greenwood. Do you still have that semi that you paid cash for?
I don't. I actually bought it. I drove the semi. I drove that semi for 6 months. I hated that semi. It wasn't a bad truck. It was just uncomfortable.
What kind of truck was it?
It was a 2016 ProStar.
Okay. International?
Yes, sir. It had 445,000 miles when I bought it. But she jumped in the truck with me to ride so she wouldn't have to drive anymore. She was miserable in the truck. So we went back to single pull campers, and we put a driver in our truck. And she abandoned the truck in Washington State, so I had to drop everything I was doing and take off to Washington to pick up the truck. And we didn't want to go through trying to find drivers anymore. It was like, let's just run our own trucks. But because of the market at the time, I was able to sell it for $20,000 more than I paid for it.
That's good.
So
man. Good for you.
We did that. That got her out of the industry, so she didn't have to drive anymore because it was killing her. Physically, she couldn't handle it. Of course, there's been a couple of times where I wished I hadn't sold it.
Well, hindsight's 20/20. But speaking of 20s, you made $20K off of it.
Yes, plus a year's worth of revenue. So it wasn't a bad deal. It was just possibly a little early to sell it, I think.
Well, it's always easy to look back, but you got to make the decision when the time's there. But tell us a little bit about, you said you came from a period of being homeless. Was this when you were living in the trailer or in the 23-foot, or was it before that, after that?
Well, I was in telecommunications, and then everything kind of went south after my divorce from my first wife. And I moved up to Colorado, and luckily, almost 5 months after I moved up there, my wife called me, and we hadn't spoken in 20 years. And it took me from around May 19th. By July, I was moved back to Texas, but the job market wasn't quite where it should be. And I ended up being evicted, and we moved back to Colorado with a couple of friends in the car industry. And before all was said and done, I was living in a 23-foot travel trailer in Colorado in someone's backyard. And my friend called me and said, "Hey, why don't you come out here with me?" So I called my father and asked him if I could borrow a truck, and off we went, So,
Colorado's a beautiful state. What was that experience like?
Colorado, outside of the financial hardships that we dealt with, Colorado is amazing. prices were so expensive that selling cars, if you weren't selling 20, 30 cars a month, you weren't going to be able to survive. It was pretty during that time. So I blame it on me. I was hustling. I just wasn't getting the car sales game down up there. And so, of course, my father's getting older. So now we stand our fifth wheel on the family farm. So I'm close to my dad and able to help him when I'm home.
Okay.
But yeah, Colorado's amazing. Like, it's a beautiful state, especially when you get out west. But it wasn't our jam, I guess you could say.
It's just tough at that time. But things are certainly looking good for you now. And I think you said you started driving, in 2017?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned earlier, and we had talked previously before we got on the air here on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport, 3.5 weeks you've been booming. That's got to be an eye-opening experience.
It is very much an eye-opening experience. It's different. I'm not going to say it's harder than driving a truck with a 53 foot, but it is actually harder. More so in the mental aspect of it. Because you're pulling one backwards, you got to get your trailer straight, and then it starts tracking it. So there's a lot more moving parts to it, but it's something different almost every time. There's physical work in it. So like, I sat and started gaining a belly from sitting in the truck. So it gives me some physical activity, which is really good. But yeah, booming has been an experience for almost 4 weeks. I think I'm at 4 weeks now, but
Gotcha. You're listening to Dennis Greenwood here on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. Now, Dennis, most of our listeners are familiar with the industry, are in the industry, are thinking about the industry. But let's start at the beginning for some of those who may not know what booming is when we talk about booming. You're into it you're a month in. You probably have become extremely familiar with booming, but to kind of walk us through what booming is, if there are a handful of listeners out there who may not know what booming is.
Okay, so booming is there's a boom trailer. So I have my pickup truck, and I take this boom trailer. There are 2 semis that need to be moved from location A to location B. I'm going to drive one truck, I tow the other truck with my boom trailer in between the two, and my pickup truck on top of that. So it allows me to take 2 trucks instead of one, and still have my pickup and be able to, when I get where I'm going, deadhead to the next pickup or come home in my vehicle, so I don't have to rent a car, buy a plane ticket, try and haul bags and stuff around with me. It's all in my pickup truck. I don't have to. The logistics become easier for me that way.
Do you get a lot of strange looks when you're booming, when people see you and it's like, there's a truck, there's a truck, there's a truck?
It is funny because I delivered in Sacramento, California on Tuesday. So once I disconnected the first truck, so I had just the truck I was towing and the trailer with my truck on top of it disconnected. So it looks kind of funny that way.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy stops and is taking a picture, and he goes, I saw you come in, but I've never seen that before with it disconnected. And he sat there and watched me take the truck off the trailer and get everything squared away. But yes, you do get some funny looks because I used to look at boom trailers funny because I was like, how do they get the truck on that platform between the 2 trucks?
It's almost, you can think about it when it's all said and done. It's almost like, okay, I'm living in the crime scene now. I'm taking off with what I came with.
Right. Yeah. It's, in my opinion, and stacked is great because you can take 3 and 4 trucks. And if you're taking, I think it's 2, maybe 3, you can tow your truck behind you or tow a tow car behind you. But, it takes me about 2 hours to set it up when I'm picking up, and it takes me about 45 minutes to tear it down. So it's quicker for me to get to the next load.
Right.
So it works for me personally because I'm very much ADHD, if you haven't noticed by talking to me, which can be difficult on the road being ADHD because you're by yourself, but it is what it is.
Now on the booming side, obviously you talked about, what'd you say, 2 hours set up, 45 to break down?
Yes.
It obviously, you reap a lot more dividends than that. Let's just say 3 hours for sake of discussion. When you get the paycheck, you reap the dividends on doing the boom because there's some benefits woven within the boom instead of the fact that you're just doing that you're the obvious that you're delivering 2 trucks.
Right. They pay some on deadhead. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to discuss pay rates or anything.
Yeah, let's stay away from that. But yeah, I mean, just so people know.
Right. So they pay you some for your deadhead, so it helps you out with your travel. But the biggest thing for me is as far like I'm taking 2. It's 3 hours, but I've spent 14 hours on a layover in Tampa's airport waiting on a flight to get me just back to home. And in that 14 hours, I'm going 800 miles. Right. And there's a load closer to me. You may have to fly into Dallas, and there's not a load in Denton, so you've got to get a rental car and get to Oklahoma City. So it's the benefits of doing Boom for me personally is I'm able to make a lot more income, more on my terms, and not being subject to somebody else's schedule like an airline.
Right.
Or the prices on the airline.
Exactly. Now, from what, I mean, the booming too, it opens up a lot of possibilities, a lot of freedom. I mean, you can make your own decisions once you drop the 2 trucks. I mean, the horse and the back guy, I mean, you're free to roam wherever you want to go, whether it be home or your next load. But I mean, so people understand, you can drop that back truck somewhere and still keep going to another location. And I mean, the point being, you don't have to drop at the same place. So you've got a lot of possibilities of what you can do as far as your routes. Give us an idea of, are you booming, starting off in Tyler, or are you singling?
No, it's booming. I have not done a single yet with the boom trailer.
Okay.
But it does make it easier. If they've got 2 pickups or 2 drop-offs, you can do it. Mm-hmm. I haven't experienced it yet, so I'm new enough to boom that I'm not there.
I got you.
I'm sure it will come because my dispatcher will find me loads like that. I'm sure.
Oh, they're out there. I mean, they may not be as frequent as some of the others, but they're out there. But run us through next week what it's going to be like for you. Are you booming all next week, or
no? I'm taking the 2 to Tyler.
Okay.
And then I'm coming back to Denton, and I'm picking up 2 heading to Lake Park, Georgia. I've got to stop by the shop because I've got a switch that's got to be replaced and some stuff with the trailer. And she hasn't told me what she has next yet. I think I'm a little too far out to book for Wednesday. But as soon as I'm there, I'm probably going to get a hotel room because they're going to work on the trailer for a minute, I'm sure. And then I'll be either probably Chillicothe, Ohio for a couple of Kenworths, or maybe Shelbyville if I'm lucky.
Gotcha.
But, I'm going to boom all week. I'm going to boom all next week and then the following week because I need to be home that next Thursday. So,
well, if I understood you correctly, you're going to be stopping by the shop here?
I am.
On your way to Lake Park or on the way back?
Once I deliver in Lake Park.
I'm going
to deliver there Tuesday, probably midday, and then I'll either be to the office that afternoon or Wednesday morning.
Tuesday and Wednesday morning. We'll take care of you then for being on the show. We always take care of our drivers who are on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. Take care of them with a little bit of swag, and if you're going to stop by, we can save the shipping and let you shop around, so to speak, in the back there. But, we're talking about your week upcoming, booming. How much of a difference have you seen, not naming a number, but how much of a difference have you seen in the last month as far as things you're able to do because you're booming, as far as in your lifestyle?
It's been huge because I'm able to make what I need and have more home time. When I came down to get my boom trailer, I had been out for 3 weeks, and then I went down to Georgia to pick up the trailer and then trained on it. So I took 2 loads with it, and I had to tell my dispatcher, I'm like, look, from Kansas, I'm gonna go home for a couple of days because I've been out 3 weeks. So I realized I've only been out for a few days with the boom trailer, but I've been out 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And so, but I get more home time this way, especially being that there's a pickup in Denton that's only 80 miles from the house. So if my next load's in Denton, I can swing by the house and sleep in my bed at night for that night, and then get back on the road. And a day or two at most is probably the most my wife is going to let me stay home anyways, because she's my wife. But no, I'm just kidding. She loves me being home, but it's a quick refresh for me. At least a couple of days to be able to kiss my wife and spend time with her, and then I'm okay to get back out again. When you're out 3 weeks to 6 weeks at a time, you're pretty whipped by the time you're done, and you're ready to be home for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, body fatigue.
So it's a thing.
Body fatigue, mental fatigue. I mean, people don't realize, but it takes a lot out of you. Of course, you're driving within the parameters of the law, but still the same. I mean, if you're doing a lot of driving, it takes it out of you. Yes,
being alone, that's a big mental strain. I'm fortunate; my wife stays home, so if we can talk. If she needs to, I use a Rand McNally headset.
Mm-hmm.
So like background noise is out, so you don't get that, oh my God, I can't hear you, or oh God, I hear everything. And so, that's nice.
That's a nice luxury to have when you're out on the road, and say you're in Montana or whatever, and it's a beautiful place, but it could get lonesome out there.
Very much.
Yeah. Now, talking about being in Texas, I mean, as a truck driver, a Driveaway truck driver, that's probably one of the top states to be in as far as load availability. Texas, Georgia, Florida, those are great states to be in. What's it like for you as far as finding something nearby to get you out of Texas?
So far, I've been out of Denton quite a bit. There's the Peterbilt yard there, so I think Norton is one of the top 3 as far as number of loads pulled out of Denton, or at least they were when I started with Norton. So I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but when I spoke with the guy at the yard, he was like, no, Norton takes their top 3 of what comes out of here. So, and then I picked up in El Paso for that Sacramento run. I don't have a whole lot of problems getting out of here. I may have to deadhead a little bit, but again, they compensate me for deadheading a little bit to get to a load. So, but from here, we've got Oklahoma, I believe up in Kansas. And then when you get over to Ohio, there's stuff all over here. So it's not hard to get a load.
And of course you got that, I guess, I don't know if comfort's the right word, but the reassurance. It's like, regardless of where the load is, it's like, I've got a pickup truck and a trailer behind me and I can go anywhere. I mean,
right.
How reassuring is that?
I did not like doing singles until I got a tow car. So having my vehicle, when I was doing singles, I haven't had anything go wrong, knock on some wood for sure, in booming. But I had a truck break down, and I was able to disconnect my vehicle and stay warm because I was in Minnesota, and it was colder than a well digger's butt up there.
Mm-hmm.
But having my vehicle, I have a place to sleep. I can carry food. I have water. If something does go wrong, I can pull the truck down and go to a hotel, and I'm not relying on a tow truck driver, because tow truck drivers, thank God they're there, but some of them can be jackasses, if I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, we're wide open here. You can say whatever.
Yeah, it's like they don't want you in their truck, and so not having to take a ride, being able to go do my own thing. If it's going to be 8 hours and I'm near an exit, I can drive to the Jack in the Box to get food and come back if I have to.
Right.
So it's a security blanket for sure.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I couldn't really put a word to it, but security blanket's nice because, I mean, you have that, and it also, we talked about all the possibilities it opens you up to. What's it been like now that you've been into it for a month? Are you becoming accustomed to it? Still feel like you got a lot to learn? You're in chapter 2. Where do you put yourself?
I'm learning. My pickup time should probably drop quite a bit. It isn't rocket science, but there's steps, and I'm constantly running through it in my head. Okay, did I do that? Okay, I did that. I did that. I did that. So that's why it takes me 2 hours, because it should honestly probably take about an hour.
It's a process. It's a process.
It is. It's a 30-step process.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in the Army, the saying was slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So I just take my time and go through it. Getting the wheel straight on the back truck. That's, it seems like every load I have to stop and adjust it because I'm tracking one way or the other a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Or I didn't back my trailer up perfectly straight, so it's a little bit off, which makes it track. So I'm learning something on every load. How to get the front up higher for a Pete 389 because it's a work truck, so that fifth wheel hitch is higher.
Right.
And you either block the wheels or you can adjust your frame chains, and that'll raise it. So I'm still learning. I'll say chapter 2. Because I'm confident in my ability to hook up and get everything right, but I'm still learning it and tweaking it and getting better at it and picking up tips from other drivers that are there,
Now that we're kind of talking the book analogy here, I think you just mentioned the foreword with that expression you learned in the Army. Take us back to your days in the Army and how it has helped you now. When were you in the Army?
I joined the Army on September 1st of 1992. It was my first day of my senior year in high school.
Right.
So I was on delayed entry. August of 93 is when I shipped out for basic training. I was an M1A1 tanker. I was on Abrams battle tanks.
Yep.
They taught me very quickly that I wasn't as smart as I thought I was.
Hey, it's tough out there.
But my third week in the Army, I was on tanks in a motor pool. And I was in Fort Knox, Kentucky. I was raised and I don't know, I guess very Southern. We say yes, sir, and no, sir, and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. You respect your elders, you respect other people, whatever. But the Army really, really reinforces that.
Mm-hmm.
And integrity and loyalty are two of the most important characteristics a person can have, in my opinion. And so, but you don't panic under pressure. You take your time, or you take the time you need. You can hurry every chance you get, but still slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And that's what keeps you alive in that scenario. And you can almost equate that to trucking too, because it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
We all see how people drive in their four-wheelers. And when you're in a truck that's, 60,000 pounds roughly, across two trucks and then a pickup and a trailer.
Yeah.
They'll cut you off quick. So, taking your time and staying with that slow is smooth, smooth is fast keeps you and somebody else alive. And we all know if you have an accident, we're getting sued. So.
And, you spoke to a great point there, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. When you've got a boom trailer and you're talking about the people not to cast aspersions on the way people in four-wheelers drive, but how much lead time do you put between yourself and the car in front of you? Probably
more. People jump in front of me a lot because I leave a lot of space, because I'm not stopping near as fast. So I would say probably 6 seconds at least lead time or my follow time.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you're going across Arizona and there's potholes and when it bounces in those back, you don't have four wheels back there tracking. You have two. So if you catch a rut, it throws that truck to the left or the right a little bit. And at first it freaks you out because you're what the hell's going on?
Right.
So I'm very cautious when I'm driving it, just because that's a very expensive truck, and I don't want to spend my bond money. I protect it at all costs. So
well said.
So I think I'm somewhere between 300,000 and 400,000 safe miles, and I'd like to get to 1 million.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great goal. And you're listening to Dennis Greenwood here on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. Dennis Greenwood from Texas. I'm going to have to test my memory. Terrell, Texas, is that right?
Yes, Terrell.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
Now, you were talking about, you grew up in the South, the yes ma'am, the no ma'am, the integrity, and the loyalty. Let's kind of dig down into Texas. There's a lot of people who think of certain things when they think of Texas. And, you fit that image. We had talked previously. There's some things you've done in your past that not a lot of people have done, but you kind of fell into it. Tell us about how you got into the very exciting time in your life back in the, I guess, mid to late 90s?
Late 80s, early 90s. We lived out in East Texas. We had horses, and so we broke horses and raced horses and stuff. And my parents decided to move us back, closer to the metro Dallas area. And I didn't want to play sports there. And I was in FFA when I was in East Texas. So I showed my horse, and, there's guys showed steers and stuff like that. So, but it's funny because when I got back into Dallas is when I found it, my sophomore year of high school, it was actually 1990. My shop teacher was the rodeo coach, and I decided to try my hand at bull riding.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to a buck out here in Terrell, actually, and had my first experience bull riding, and I was addicted to it. So ultimately, I got out of the Army in 98, and in 99, I donated half my liver to my mother. And once that was done and everything, I was healed, I went professional and did pro bull riding for a year in PRCA.
Now, so before you made that very charitable donation to your mother, very kudos to you for that. Had you been riding before that, or did you start riding right after that? Okay.
No, I had been riding. See, I was in 98. I was 23, so I'd started riding when I was 16. Just about to turn. No, I was 15 years old when I started riding bulls.
But you didn't turn professional until after your donation to your mother.
Right. I was 24. I was 24 when I tried to go pro for a year.
Now, tell us what it's like riding on the professional bull riding circuit there. I would think that'd be invigorating, exhilarating, exhausting. Just kind of take us through that.
It's all of the above, because I worked full time with Southwestern Bell Telephone when I did it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mainly stayed in the Texas circuit. I rode Mesquite, Athens, Canton, so I stayed in the Texas circuit. I was not able to fill my PRCA card. So, technically you can't say I was a professional bull rider because I never actually got the card filled, but I was riding pro rodeos.
That's a mere technicality. We're going to call you a professional bull rider.
Well, I've got a nice hole in my chin that says otherwise. Like I rode Mad Max in Athens and Copenhagen Black Moon, which you can't even find those bulls anymore because I tried to look them up to show somebody. But wow. Kagan Surratt was a huge bull rider at the time, and 2 weeks to the day prior to me getting on to Copenhagen Black Moon in Canton, Texas, he rode him for 94 points in Las Vegas. And I was scared shitless, honestly, to get on that bull because I watched that tape and I knew what that bull was going to do. And even knowing what he was going to do, he still got me over my rope and smacked me in the face with a horn. And then it wasn't very long after that, I was in Athens on Mad Max, and he come out of the chute and got me over my rope almost immediately and smacked me and dropped me right there in front of it. And he was climbing on top of me, and I had clowns trying to help me, and I crawled back into the chute, and he got in the chute with me and was just gutter stomping me in the chute. But
that had to be extremely frightening.
That was a scary experience. Anyone you walk away from is kind of like a landing. It's a good one. So
yeah.
But my inaugural ride in the PRCA was Wreck of the Week on Fox Sports Southwest for almost a year.
Oh, wow. So there's a good chance we could look it up and find you.
You might could. I was at church league softball actually, and one of the guys I played softball with was like, "Hey, would I see you on?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You were Wreck of the Week. I thought that was you." It's like, yeah.
Good way to be known right there. Now, which one caused the injury to you?
That was Copenhagen Black Moon caught me in that spot, and then I got caught by Mad Max, which is what broke it open, and to this day there's still a hole in my chin. When I'm there next week, I'll show it to you. My beard covers it pretty well, but there's a hole in my chin.
Well, it's a good reason to grow a beard.
Right. Well, the main reason is my wife likes it, so here I am.
That's another good
but
reason.
Yeah, it hides it up, and I've got a scar on my lip from a motorcycle accident in 2010, so it hides that up pretty well too. So
That's cool. That's cool. What was it like? I mean, for that time, those years that you spent on the back of a bucking bull there. I mean, well, the two that you named there, the ones that are very notable bulls. Give us a description of those, what they look like, the weight. I mean, those are some kind of animals.
Black Moon was straight jet black. He's a beautiful bull. He was, I think he might have been Brangus. He had the hump of a Brahma, and he had the color of an Angus.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably 2,000, maybe 2,500 pounds. He was a monster.
That's a big bull.
When I put my rope on him, like you're there in the run before the chutes, and that's where you put your rope on. You tie it on, that way when they get in the chute, you just pull it and you can basically strap yourself in. And like he's calm as he could be standing there. Like he knew he was there to perform.
Mm-hmm.
But he was beautiful. Like he was tall. So, well, I say he was tall. For me, I'm a very tall bull rider. Matter of fact, I forget his name now. Mesquite, Donnie Gay's brother. He's always on a horse in the back, and he's like, "You're tall for a bull rider." I said, "Well, yeah, because I'm 6 foot tall."
Yeah, most bull riders are about 5'8".
Right. So, for me, if it was nice to have a tall bull that I didn't feel like my legs, I could just lock my ankles underneath him.
Mm-hmm.
But he was calm as he could be. Like I could have reached in there and pet him on the damn forehead and he'd have been okay.
Wow.
But as soon as they cut him loose out of that chute,
it's all game on.
It is. They're as much athletes as we are. Like, so, and when I rode, I had a bodacious pin that was in my hat. Like I never would even attempted to ride that bull after knowing what he had done. But
sure,
there's a huge amount of respect for those animals.
How long did you stay on him? Do you remember how long you stayed on him?
I made, let's see, it was 3 jumps out. He made 3 jumps out, and he made a hard right, and that was where I got too far over my rope when he made it. So probably 3.5 seconds. Like that was an interesting ride.
3.5 seconds you'll never forget.
Yes. Well, that's kind of when you're sitting back and you're almost 50 years old and you look back and you're like, I used to be kind of cool. You remember those things. So, yeah, Mad Max was, he was almost kind of between a sorrel and a bay color of, like, if you know horse colors very well.
Mm-hmm.
Not like a real dark brown, but not a real light brown either. Kind of
sort of a
middle,
deep tan kind of thing.
Yeah, like almost like a is it a limousine that's red almost, like kind of that
okay.
red.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful. It was a pretty color, but he was batshit crazy. Actually, like that bull was. It wasn't like getting near Black Moon. Like I didn't really want to even put my rope on that bull. Like I wasn't scared of him, but I was scared of him at the same time. If that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
He just. Like he wanted you. Like it was, and what's funny is I was asking because I was talking with a couple of guys and they're like, okay, he's coming out and he'll go either way. Like I've seen him go both ways. And I was like, okay, and but he's gonna spin straight out of the chute, and he did, and that's what got me. Like it was just we came out to the right and I got over my rope too far, and as soon as he popped up, it smacked me. And I was trying to kind of get myself going into that well. It's called the well to the direction they're turning.
Right. Because
that's going to put centrifugal force pushing you out to the outside. So if you're inside, it kind of gets you centered.
I got you.
And I don't think I was on him for more than a second. Like it was that fast. He came out with a huge explosion and got me real quick. So.
Were you conscious at the time when it went through your chin there?
Well, okay, it just so there's not like a big hole that you can see through my chin. There's just let's say there's a chunk taken out.
Okay.
So there's a hole in my chin right there.
I got you.
But that was what busted it open. So I guess you could say I sprung a leak that night. But
it's good you can joke about it now.
I joked about it then, actually. Like I was full of piss and vinegar. Like I had 2 nails back then.
I got you.
Now it takes longer to heal. So, but yeah, that's probably, besides skydiving, that's the best sport I've ever been involved in. And tip of the hat to all the cowboys and cowgirls out there, because y'all entertain the hell out of us.
Absolutely. You included there back in that time frame. Now, you just mentioned skydiving. Now that opens up a whole new window of discussion there. No pun intended there. Take us down the road.
Okay, so in '99, before I was getting ready to go up to Colorado and donate my liver to my mom, and skydiving was on my bucket list, and it was one of the things I wanted to do before I died. And back then, the adult living liver donor surgery was still experimental. I use quotations on that.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the first 50 in the United States to be a living adult donor with my liver, which is another cool scar. So I went and jumped out of a perfectly good airplane because I wanted to experience it. And as a tanker, you're not going to get skydive, or you're not going to get airborne school, so I'm not going to get to jump out of airplanes there. So
you're ground bound.
Yes, well, it's 63 tons, and they hadn't quite figured out how to airdrop them yet. So they were like, "No, you're not doing that." But I wanted to jump out of an airplane and experience it, so I did. And it was just like bull riding. It was sensory overload, and you're addicted. Like once you do it once, you're going to want to do it again. So after the surgery, I got back, did that August, and September was the day I went back to work a little bit earlier than that, but September was when I was supposed to go back to work. So in October, they said, no, the doctor said, staples are out, you're good, okay. So I went and did it again.
Wow.
And then I didn't ride, then I didn't jump for a little bit. I kind of got into my motorcycles.
Gotcha.
And I scared myself on my motorcycle a couple of years later, and that weekend, I won't tell you what I did to scare myself, because that would make me look very unprofessional as a professional truck driver. So I sold my bike and decided to start skydiving. The option at that point was finish my pilot's license, which I had started when I was in the Army, and I just couldn't afford to do it anymore, or jump out of airplanes, and I thought jumping out of airplanes would be cheaper. I'm here to tell you, after 215 jumps, it wasn't cheaper by any stretch of the imagination.
I wouldn't think
but
so.
it was a great experience. I got on a rookie 4-way skydiving competition team for a season. We placed 3rd in the state of Texas.
Oh wow!
In skydiving, so it was, I still have my skydiving rig. My wife won't let me jump anymore because I would. My cousin lives out in East Texas, and he jumps every week. But yeah, it's a great sport. It's expensive, but it's worth it.
215 jumps, is that right?
Yes.
Which ones stand out as the most memorable?
Number 15. That was my first reserve ride. I reached. It was cold. It was, I think, December. I reached down, and I was still in a student rig, so I had an actual ripcord that you pull out and you have to hang on to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I reached back for it, and I didn't feel it. And so I went through it again and reached for it. I didn't feel it again. And you go straight to the reserve. Well, it was a single handle cutaway reserve. So it would cut the main off so it won't deploy, or it will cut it away if it's deployed already, and simultaneously pull your reserve. So I went to pull it, and it's Velcroed on your chest. So I went to pull it, and it didn't come off. So I reached with both hands and grabbed it and jerked it off my chest and ripped the Velcro off. And when I did, that flipped me upside down. So my reserve sprung out, went between my legs, and I did a backflip with lines between my legs, and
So you're going back to the ground, chute between your legs. Is that right?
When it came out, yes, that's how. Because when I pulled it, I flipped myself sideways, basically, so my shoulders facing the ground instead of my chest. And as it continued, when that came out, it went between my legs and then deployed. So it's in a bag, basically. All the fabric of the parachute is in a bag, mm-hmm. and then the lines are tied to it, and it unravels itself. So this bag comes out, goes between my legs, and flips me over. I look up and there's an orange canopy, and I'm alive. So that's the one that stands out the most.
What was the landing like on that one?
Oh, it's fun. It was just normal. It's the canopy, the reserve canopy was the same size as the main canopy. So once it's deployed, you're just normal flying down and landing. So, but yeah, that was an interesting.
You came in smoothly on that one, despite everything that had happened.
Yes, and the safety and training advisor at the time, his name was Bill. He was a Golden Knight in the Army. He come out and he's like, okay, well, tell me what happened, because I was technically still a student. I didn't even have my skydiving license yet. So every reserve ride, they want to know what happened. You know, why did you have to pull your reserve? Was it a malfunction? So when I went through it, he's like, well, you did the right thing, so good to go. And
good deal. Now, I got to ask you this. From what we've heard so far, you're listening to the fabulous adventures of Dennis Greenwood here on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. Dennis, are you an adrenaline junkie?
Yes. Yeah, well, let me just say yes. I'm just going to go with yes. I'm not going to go with I used to be, because I still do it today.
So you would jump today if the cards lined up right?
In a heartbeat.
Gotcha. Now, I don't want to go back into too much here, but I ride myself. I've never jumped out of an aircraft, but on the motorcycle, because everyone out there knows who rides. They can be dangerous, but you control that danger in the palm of your hand and with your head, the 6 inches between your ears. But did you have a harrowing experience?
Yes. Don't get me wrong. I maintain my motorcycle license, and I will go ride today. I'll go buy a cruiser, but I bought, at the time, in my 20s, I bought the GSXR 1000 when it came out. Well, I say that it was the third year it was out.
Gotcha.
At the time, it was the fastest production bike on the road. Back then, and if it do 200, I'm trying to do 201 to see if it'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
But riding that bike in Dallas, I would have killed myself.
Well, you learn a lot with time and age.
Yes. Yeah, looking back now.
You're like, you thank the lucky stars that you're still here and able to look back.
Right. That's like, I own bikes after that bike. I had a Honda Shadow. That was the one I had the accident on. So that's all me. Like, I know there's people out there that think, oh my God, you shouldn't get on a motorcycle. That's a coffin, or it's a death trap, or whatever. But no, that was all me. And so, I loved riding it. I really did. But because you're in Dallas and traffic, and I had 2 kids at the time, and, had I not made it, then I wouldn't have my youngest daughter.
Right.
So, I'm glad I made that decision when I made it. But I still ride. Like, I love riding bikes. My son owns a bike, and I take it out and ride it. But I don't do what I did when I was in my 20s either.
Sure. So, now, are there some good places to ride in Texas there where you live?
If you get kind of out in the country, yes, but it's pretty flat. It's just the wind in your face. Or if you're wearing a helmet on your neck, apparently. But Texas is one of those states where you don't have to have a helmet as long as you're old enough.
I didn't know the law in Texas. I know South Carolina, Florida, no helmet required.
Right, Texas is the same. But yeah, there's some good winding roads and stuff to where you get to feel that you understand the exhilaration of going to those windy roads. But if I was going to ride Colorado, Montana, like, those would be my dream rides.
Mm-hmm.
Or even out near Sturgis, up in, all up in that area
in the Dakotas
would be way better. Oh yeah, it'd be way better in my opinion. But if you get down in hill country, I'm sure that riding down there is amazing. But up here, it's pretty flat. So,
well, being talking about your dreams there and being a boom driver. For us, we're lucky to have Dennis Greenwood here at Norton Transport, and you're listening to him here on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. But talking about your dreams and riding in those locations that are, dream destinations, is that something that you've thought about? Is, I could swing a trip out there now that I'm making good money.
Right. That's one of the things that drew me and my wife to driving was, I've seen all but one of the lower 48, but I haven't really got to spend a bunch of time because obviously with the way we started, we were very money motivated. So it was drop it and get to the next one, drop it, get to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do have that opportunity. Next year, God willing, I'm going to take my wife on a cruise because she's never been. And I'd like to drop the boom trailer here, hook to my fifth wheel and take it and actually do a northern Montana trip, because everywhere up by Kalispell up there is gorgeous, and that's not that far. Well, I say it's not that far. It's probably 700 miles, but truckers understand 700 miles is nothing.
It's not that far.
But it's a day's drive. So if I can pitch my fifth wheel and then get a spot at Sturgis, that would be awesome. Just because then on the way home we can stop and hit Mount Rushmore, since we got rained out 3 weeks in a row trying to go.
That'd be an awesome trip, man. We've talked to a lot of drivers here on the Six Figure Trucker, and we ask them a lot, the most aesthetic places they've seen, the most beautiful, majestic, take your breath away. And one of the, I can't say which one is the top one, but one of the states that pops up the most is South Dakota, North Dakota, and Montana.
Yes, all three are beautiful. So the Dakotas are better on the western side because it kind of flattens out as you get towards Minnesota and all that. But yeah, all of that up there is just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Now, talk about this cruise that your wife wants to do. Where do you want to go?
I've been to the Caribbean and Alaska on cruises, and I'm more of a warm weather kind of girl, and she's more of a cold weather kind of girl.
Okay.
So, but I'd like to take her to Alaska just because I know that would be absolutely amazing for her.
That's a beautiful
Caribbean
place.
It's very beautiful. But you're going in July, so that would be, during my busy time. So it's either that or we'll do like a Western Caribbean so she can kind of get a feel for cruising.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've been on several Western Caribbeans. I've never been to the Eastern Caribbean, which I'd like to do. But I'm going to take her probably on a 5 or 7 day. That'll kind of get her feet wet and if you like it, it's not really long enough, but it's long enough to satisfy that itch.
Right.
And it's short enough that if you don't like it, it's not too unbearable. So
right.
But
a good trial run there, and is that on the calendar? I'm not saying pinned in, but is that on the horizon soon?
Yes, we both have to get our passports. So I haven't even told her yet. She's actually in the other room. She's probably heard me already, and she's sitting there going, "Son of a bitch, he's taking me to Alaska."
Make sure she's not listening next week when this drops.
Right. Well, she's sitting in there listening to me talk right now, I think. So
she's hearing it live.
Yeah. So, but I mean that's good because she'll hold me accountable to it too. So.
Oh, there you go. You've let the cat out of the bag there.
Right. Well, we get into you get into the swing of this, especially when you're booming, because I mean, frankly, I do make good money, right? So, you start getting into the swing of it and you start running, and then you forget about stuff and you go, "Oh, damn, I meant to do that." And you didn't do it. So, I'm going to end up getting close to it and just have to pay for the whole cruise all up front, which I'll be able to do, but I'll be behind. She'll keep me on track and say, "Hey, you said that." So, we'll figure out a date and get it booked, and then I can take, the rest of this year to pay for it instead of doing it all at once.
Gotcha. You're listening to Dennis Greenwood with many of his great stories and tells on the road and off the road, behind the wheel, on a bucking bull, jumping out of an airplane. He's done quite a few things to say. That'd be an understatement. But Dennis, we want to wrap it up here. We often do this here on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. What would your counsel, your advice be to someone who may be new to the trucking industry or may be in Driveaway, but what would your advice be to them moving forward? Is it something they should consider, or how do you look at it? And be candid with us.
I would recommend it just because of my experience I mean, honestly, going from homeless to like where I'm at today, it is a great industry to be in. It has its ups and downs, just like everything else. Listen to the drivers that have the experience. Don't listen to all the guys because Facebook is huge, right? So people are always on there going, should I get into the industry? I'm looking to get into the industry. And you hear all these guys going, no, don't get into it. It's stupid. It's the fastest way to go broke. If you plan, I trade foreign exchange. And so the saying in trading is plan your trade your plan. Don't veer from it.
Right.
If you plan and you know what you set the money back that you need to set back to take care of yourself and do the stuff you need to do, you'll make it. There's work. There's plenty of work.
You stay on course.
Listen to the people that have been doing it for 10, 20 years, because they'll tell you what you need to do. They'll help you, and you don't listen to the guys. Everybody's out for themselves these days, so they're like, no, don't do it. Don't listen. You know what you need to do. Go do it. And, by all means, come into the boom industry. If you see me at a yard, I'll help you.
Gotcha. Well, as we sign off, when I look for guests on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport, I reach out to our dispatch team leaders. And Courtney said Dennis Greenwood would be a great guy, and she was spot on. And, Courtney's sweet, great. We love Courtney. Anything you want to say to Courtney and her team?
Yes, thank you, Courtney. Courtney, I was waiting for a boom trailer for quite some time, and Courtney kept me up to date. She called me and said, I think I may have you a boom trailer. Like, she is amazing. She works her butt off to get me loaded and get me where I need to be and to keep me running and making money. So I can't say enough good about my dispatch team.
Good deal. Well, Dennis Greenwood here on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. Dennis was a great guest, told us a lot of things that he's done in his life. And Dennis, just the last thing is not really a question, but anything you want to leave us with?
No, I appreciate being here. And to everybody out there, keep trucking.
Six Figure Trucker is brought to you by Norton Transport. Norton Transport is a drive-away trucking company that customers can rely on. It offers excellent independent contract driving opportunities to professional, courteous, and qualified drivers that can provide the kind of service we deliver. If you're interested in learning more about Norton or just want to subscribe to the show, check out 6-figuretrucker.com. That's 6-figuretrucker.com.